So let's talk a little bit about errors. So a statistical test uses data obtained from a sample to make a decision about whether the null hypothesis is true and we keep it, or is it false and then we reject it. Okay, we do that through something that is called a test statistic. We get this value, the numerical value that we obtain from a statistical test, and we make our decision based on that. So the statistical test relies on data from a sample drawn from the population, right? So we take a sample and then we project it back onto the population. The sample data are used to decide to reject the null hypothesis or not to reject it. Could vary, and it could be incorrect. So the statistical testing is not perfect. So sometimes we make some kind of errors. We reach an incorrect decision. So we're going to look here at this grid and we're going to talk about the different things that could happen. So in the previous video, we talked about how a null could be either true, okay? So null is true, or null could be false. Okay, so this is what could be the null hypothesis. Is it true or is it false? And then we could make two decisions. We could either reject it, okay? We can reject the null, or we could fail to reject the null. All right, so let's start with this corner over here. If the null was false and we rejected it, this is actually the right thing, right? We've done the right thing. This is correct. Okay, this is good. But now if the null was true and I rejected it, that is a mistake. Okay, and mistakes do happen because of variability. Okay, we have overlapping regions between the population and our null, and sometimes we make mistakes. So this over here is going to be an error. Okay, and since we have two types of error, this is going to be type 1 error. Okay, so type 1 error, we rejected the null, but the null was true. Okay, somebody is going to get some cancer testing and they do have cancer, but we didn't find that cancer, okay? And now this person thinks that they have no cancer and doesn't get the treatment, okay? We'll talk a little bit more about the example of a trial in the criminal system, but let's talk about now if the null was true. If the null was true and we failed to reject it, it's true and we didn't reject it. That's great, right? This is again a right decision. It's again right. Okay, but if the null was false and I did not reject it, okay, if I fail to reject due to variability, then this is a mistake. Again, this is an error. Okay, it's a mistake I made, and it happens with variability. That does happen, and this we're going to call the type 2 error. Okay, so in type 1 error is when the null is rejected. Okay, it was true and we rejected it. But type 2, if the null was false and I didn't reject it, okay, the person doesn't have cancer, but a test came back that the person does have cancer, and now, I'm giving treatments to people who don't really need it, and think about the emotional toll that it makes. Another example that I really quickly want to it's going to help you with understanding is that we're having a criminal trial and we have a defendant who is really guilty. Okay, so if we have a person who is really guilty, okay, then I need to prove beyond all doubt that that person is guilty. Okay, so the verdict needs to be, for a guilty person, the verdict needs to be guilty. So if I am thinking about this, then if a person is guilty, then I need to prove that this person is not innocent. Okay, so I need to reject innocence. So this business over here, this line over here, is presumption of innocence. And if I am rejecting the innocence, and I'm proving that this person beyond all doubt did commit this crime, then I am sending a guilty I'm sending a guilty person to jail, or I'm reaching a guilty verdict, whatever the punishment is. Okay, but if the person is innocent, okay, and I have rejected the innocence, okay, if I rejected the null hypothesis, okay, then I am convicting an innocent person. Okay, this is, this is an atrocity that happens, and it does happen. There are hundreds and thousands of people that actually that this happens to. Now let's look at if the person, if we failing to reject. Okay, presumption. We did not show beyond all doubt that this person is innocent. Okay, so we failed to reject that this person is innocent. Then an innocent person is free. This is again a right decision. Okay, but if I failed to reject and the person was not innocent, okay, now I have a guilty person is going around free. Okay, this could also have serious implication for the society, and this is